This is a story about a child born out of wedlock in the late 1940s to a Scottish father and a Ghanaian mother. Disowned by his father for fear of ending his first marriage to a Scottish woman, Ghana's Jerry John Rawlings was a Top Gun pilot, a pushist who formed a military council and eventually allowed democracy to take root in Ghana. We're decoding the life of Ghana's Junior Jesus. Born in Accra, Jerry was the son of Victoria Agbutui, an Ewe from Keta, and James John, an expat chemist from Castle Douglas, Scotland. John refused to recognize his son, possibly a factor in many of Jerry's character traits. During his ascent to leadership, many have described Jerry John Rawlings' actions as polarizing both to the left and the right. In 1979, the young firebrand flight lieutenant was court-martialed for plotting to overthrow Ghana's government. Rawlings defended himself, saying government corruption had eroded public trust in the military. Rawlings was freed by a group of junior officers who formed the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council. Over the summer of 1979, the army was purged of its senior ranks. 8 officers were executed, 3 of which were former heads of state. The AFRC, led by Rawlings, would last until 1979, when President Hilla Liman and his People's National Party came to power. But the elected government wouldn't last long. Endemic corruption persisted with added political dysfunction. Rawlings and his allies plotted their returning to power on New Year's Eve, 1981. Rawlings would remain as Ghana's military leader for the next 11 years. Then, in 1993, he introduced multi-party elections that returned the country to democracy, won those elections, and was sworn in as president. Rawlings served 2 elected 4-year terms and stepped down as per the Constitution in 2001. The Americans and the Europeans had earlier on been eager to see Rawlings go, egged on coups which were thwarted by Ghana's ruthless and highly effective security organization. Despite a tilt towards leftist or communist ideals, neither Moscow nor Beijing in 1983 had the power to bail out Ghana financially. So Rawlings turned to the IMF, which agreed to reschedule Ghana's debt and reopen lines of credit. But the break came at a cost. More Ghanaian businesses fell into foreign ownership during this time as a result of the IMF bailout than did under British colonial rule. But despite this, the Americans and the British swung behind the IMF cutthroat reforms. As a result of his obedience, Rawlings was rewarded by a state visit by Bill and Hillary Clinton in 1998. Rawlings quit politics a few years later, but his chosen successor, John Atta Mills, lost those elections to John Agyekum Kufu, or centre-right New Patriotic Party. Over the past 2 decades, Ghana's political culture has progressed as a multi-party democracy. Its independent judiciary has won public trust, and its economy has expanded. There's a sustained push to make secondary education free for all and to further revolutionize the economy of 30 million people. And Jerry John Rawlings is to thank for he emerged as a Democrat despite his militant rise early on, a path which decades later has led to a dramatic improvement for many Ghanaians. So, what lessons can Ghana's journey, as encapsulated by its revolutionary leader Jerry John Rawlings, offer to other states? Tell us what you think. Leave your comments and suggestions on our YouTube page. I'm on Twitter @Ali_Mustafa.